Hello and happy 4th of July. It is the 250th anniversary of freedom. So I got my World War II, my favorite World War II plane out, the F4U Corsair. This one is the Hobby Zone Corsair S. Non-retractable. It originally came with AS3X, but I replaced the servo and quickly learned about forward programming, and if you don't do it, you'll crash. So I didn't forward program, and AS3X thought the plane was constantly never getting corrected and instantly rolled into the ground on takeoff. So to fix this, if you could see right there, yes, I put a radio link receiver in, and now when I reverse my servos and my controller, it's gonna stay that way. So this is pretty much my first time mating, and having a mating with this plane that should go successful. So I waited for July 4th, and it should be pretty good. Also, I want to mention, this is a 3D printed cowl. For anybody who has the Hobby Zone Corsair S and you never found the cowl, there's a file on Thingiverse. I'll link it in the comments. Somebody said to scale it to 102%, and that would work perfectly. They were correct. It slides right on, and then I used Tamiya blue naval paint, the same they use to paint Corsairs. And then I coated it with the, I forgot what it's called, mini wax, I think, just to give it a clear coat. So this is going to be my maiden, pretty much my maiden, of the 1.2 Corsair S. My biggest F4U yet. Only thing I wish, of course, it had the retracts, but this is the lightest Corsair of this size at this hobby grade, if that makes sense. Because Hobby Zone makes really good planes. The only thing is there's no retracts, no flaps. Simple 4-channel. So I'll go ahead and get the camera on my head, and let's get flying. First flight's going to be very nervous and trimming probably, because even though I can fly the little one with no gyro, this one's a big plane, big worry. Just like some other people agree with me on that too. But it should fly easier. This has no gyro in it. So like I said, first flight's going to be boring, just trimming it out. Second flight, I'll try a little bit of aerobatics or scale maneuvers that I learned in War Thunder. Hopefully get away from the enemy and win. Alrighty, make sure not to touch the connectors the wrong way, as you can do that with these blue connectors for some reason.
Telemetry connected.
And hold on to it while I make sure everything's settled. One of my aileron servos may be ever so slightly damaged, but now that I don't have that AS3X reversed, none of that should really be an issue. I'm just gonna put this on the floor and double check my control surfaces directions, double check if I see any trim out, and then I'm gonna take off. Like I said, first flight's gonna be rather boring, and I'm only gonna be flying about 5 minutes. Second flight should be a little bit more interesting, and hopefully everything goes successful, of course. I have seemed to have no throttle. Let me down trim my throttle maybe, and try this one more time. this is the thing with this.
Telemetry lost.
I did plug in my ESC back, right? Yeah. And that's why we hold on to it. My throttle may be reversed. Let me see. Alright, let's try it again. Fuck it. Wow. Fun, fun, fun. I gotta figure this out real quick. Okay. I got it to work. I think having too much of that down or negative trim, like how the AS3X required, messed up when I did it on my radio link. So I think it's all fine now, but I have the center is weak on an aileron servo over there, but it's just the center, so I'm not really too worried personally. So we got everything working now. Let's check direction. Direction's all good. Let me make sure I have some expo. I have some stuff. Everything looks fairly trimmed, so go ahead and take off now. It is windy. Just, like I said, checking out the trim. Windier than I'd like. Certainly has its presence in there. It's a little easier to see than my micros. Doing the CG check. CG looks good. I could definitely use more elevator expo. I think my plane just flew off. Yep. My micro plane just flew off the bench. It's whistling in the air pretty much, as it should. See if I could touch wheels fairly slowly. See what landing's gonna feel like with no gyro. And how well it slows down. Alright, let's see, just gonna do a touch and go if I can. Okay, we're gonna be able to land this. Not too bad. It's got some speed to it considering how huge that is. Doing a slow pass.
Trim center.
Touch wheels again. Should have some time. Oh man, I saw my wheel was bending right there. If you could see that, it's putting too much pressure on the right wheel and it was about to drop. I enjoy hearing the air being separated from this plane. I'm nearing my end of the battery, so I'm gonna land, check out my services. I'm gonna replace that aileron servo soon. Very, very, very soon. This isn't my landing, I'm just checking out how it approaches. So I'm gonna do a little bit more aerobatic flights or scale maneuvers kinda. See, I'm gonna come for a landing. This is my landing. Nice good wind. Slow me down. Get ready for the right rudder. Don't panic and correct that. When you do that, just gotta, if it bounces, you gotta keep your speed up, you know. Do not just instantly pull up or down. You see my wheels are a little bent. It's been in an accident before, like I said. Aileron servo's twitching. That's definitely making it a little bit unstable, but we got, if you see the windsock, stronger winds than I'd like, sadly, but it's 4th of July and I want to test it. So that's a successful maiden, kind of a maiden. And let's see. Just checking out the rudder. Alright, I'll get another battery on in a second. One moment, be right back. Alrighty, I got the second battery in. It's too windy for my micros, so just gonna fly this guy and head out for the day. Wind direction is to the right, so not really that nervous right there. Quick vertical climb test. Not unlimited. The wind is blowing, but big plane. And no gyro, messed up servo, it's flying all right. Wind's really pushing it around in certain maneuvers. Those high-speed dives are great. It's pretty quick on the dives, at least for me. Let's try a flat spin, because an F4U is meant to do that, right? Easy. Ooh, that was so scary. It got into a really good spin, so I wanted to cancel out of that earlier. I'll try one more time, but really high up. So sorry if it's hard to see, but I'd like to keep this plane. Wind's blowing in this direction, so I'm coming in for landings. Trying to avoid that bird trying to fly up to me. So I come in from landings right here at this angle and then adjust for the rudder last moment. No panicking. Like I said, no panicking. When that happens, when that weird, I wasn't coming in for a landing, but when that weird stall things happen, just relax, see what the plane does. No sudden movements. It's definitely a hobby for patient people. Nobody in a rush will last too long with RC planes. It's clean. I could catch the rudder the whole time. Full rudder authority throughout landing. I should be able to fly the way I fly about 6 minutes with my batteries. But I'd rather not risk it, and I have 5-minute flight timer. The F4U did have a short fuel tank in real life, or fuel capacity in real life. I learned the fuel tank was in front of the pilot on the F4U recently. Part of the reason why he's so far back. And it's not in the wings because they're folding, not enough room, too much complication. So they just put it in front of the pilot. But because of that, it has much less range than something like a P-51, which I'm pretty sure the fuel's in the wings on that one. And P-51 has crazy more range compared to the F4U because of the fuel tank is a large reason. No doubt the drag plays a large effect, but the wing of the F4U was supposed to be low drag. The fuselage not so much because of that huge radio engine. So coming for a landing, coming directly against the wind and incorrect with rudder at last moment. So I know I need right rudder, so I'm pre-programming right rudder in my mind so nobody's scared. And then it's good to go. You can see the wind. That's a good judgment of the wind. I don't have reverse thrust on this. So successful, let me just show you it one more time. Successful maiden flights of the F4U Corsair. Really old plane. When I first bought it, the wheels had 0 marks on them because this plane was never flown. It had some hanger rash that I repaired. Maybe it was taken out the box too quickly, who knows. But it all worked out. Like I said, I'll have the cowl linked in the description. And yeah, happy 250 years of freedom. God bless, amen.